Misha here, and in parts 1, 2, and 3 we kind of looked at the past and present of the TIE line, and now we're going to look at its future, and what I'm going to insist on referring to is the Imperial Remnant. Can we agree on that? Because if we take it for that, it's a lot more enjoyable, and makes a lot more sense, quite frankly. The TIE-FO, essentially an updated, somewhat modernized TIE-LN. And what really led to this were super ultra efficient solar collectors that grabbed much more power and much more efficient energy conversion to use that power. The craft itself is just a little bit taller at about 8 meters and a little bit wider at just over 6.5 meters. So almost the same size, just a little bit. It has the updated LS 9.6 laser cannons, more powerful. It has an updated targeting system, nav system. Still no life support, still no hyperdrive, although it does have basic lightweight shielding with the projector here. It can take a hit or two, so it at least doubles the endurance, and it does so rather efficiently. This costs about the same as the TIE Interceptor, adjusting for inflation, so you get more powerful weapons, a little better on the defense, a little better range, and it was a little faster. In atmosphere, about the same, 1200 kph, but in space it could achieve 130 megalights, so it's a pretty good upgrade from the 100 of the TIE LN. That's just, of course, updated ion engines, all that good stuff. These are still used in mass fleet formations to operate in wings. And to go along with it, the pilot got a new flight suit because, again, no life support. Here he is. Just a little bit updated flight suit. A little slimmer, a little more armor too, a little more durability. Doesn't rely on a backpack system, just the front pack, more efficient air filtration. Carry typically a sidearm blaster instead of a E11. But very, very normal. Just some iterative updates based on some of the stuff learned from the TIE Advanced and TIE Defender with micronization and economy of shields. And the thing is, too, they could not have disposable pilots as the Remnant would go on. They had to value their pilots more, their training more. And while it didn't shift as much as it probably should have, it did force them to change their doctrine a bit, because they were no longer the dominant power. Too bad they didn't have Thrawn. And they would have several new versions. I mean, this is just your basic line fighter, but what if you need something more mission capable? The next step in a fleet that does not have a lot of pilots and limited budget comes here with the TIE SF, the TIE Special Forces. It's a special purpose fighter with further enhanced abilities and kind of borrowing again from the miniaturization from the Advanced and Defender programs, namely the Class 2 hyperdrive. It also does provide life support and atmosphere inside, and it does have better shielding than the standard TIE-FO. Not the best in the world, but better. It also has 2 front-mounted heavy laser cannons. These are still LSF 9.6. But now we have, really for the first time I can think of, a turret with 2 medium laser cannons located in it. as well as a small ordnance launcher, either a limited number of concussion missiles or mag pulse missiles. It also had small ordnance bays in the hull that could carry up to proton torpedoes, again, although limited numbers. These are more for strike missions. To operate all the systems, we have larger power couplers and converters, and just a beefier strut system, beefier solar panels. At its widest point, it's about 8 meters. It's roughly the same size, just a little bit thicker compared to the standard one. Just a little bit wider, a little bit taller in every, metric, but not by a whole lot. 1 meter here or there. It's still a pretty lightweight gizmo. And even though it could operate from carriers like any other TIE, it could go on longer missions. It was actually expected to go on missions up to a week, so it carried enough supplies for that. And of course, it had a crew of 2 here. Get this open. A pilot and a gunner, mission specialist, sensor operator, just a second crew member to take the workload off, and of course on long missions he could take over as a co-pilot, because these were not just used for patrol and fighting missions, but also scout and reconnaissance missions, not unlike the ARC 170 of yore. These were mostly flown by the elite, and they did cost a good amount. They were about double the price of a standard TIE FO here, which makes sense and explains why they weren't the standard in the fleet. Speed-wise, I should also mention, they were a little bit faster in atmosphere, 1250, 1300 kph, and in space they were capable of about 140 megalights. They were just a little bit faster thanks to stronger engines. They did trade a little bit of maneuverability, and of course they have a larger silhouette, so that's going to make them a little bit easier of a target. But with the turret, it gives them, okay, not 360 degrees defense because you're going to run into the wings, but at least you have this back arc for defense. In the front you have laser cannons, and of course you have ordnance launchers too, so pretty capable craft. And it allows it to take place of things like the bomber, the interceptor, even specialty craft like the TIE Striker we looked at earlier. And these two were the main spacecraft of the Imperial Remnant fleet, which is the name I'm calling it, and what it is because I grew up with Legends. But we did have some specialist craft that kind of took on the spirit of the TIE Advance and the TIE Interceptor. These TIEs are still made by Senior Fleet Systems, although they have consolidated with a few other companies, becoming Senior Jameis Fleet Systems. And after getting the basic couple out of the way, they asked the question, what if we combined the updates of the TIE SF with the tried and tested TIE Interceptor? And that's how we end up with the TIE WI TIE Whisper here. The ball, the canopy, the cockpit is essentially the exact same module as the Special Forces. Although instead of housing 2 crew to make room for systems, it still has a crew of 1, presumably in a rotating seat because it still has a window in the back. And of course we have the wings from the Interceptor, but they are longer. In fact, the width of the craft is about the same as a regular TIE, about 6.5 under 7 meters. Height is actually under 5 meters because of the bent wings, but length, it is a long one. But she's a long one, about 15 meters. Since it is an interceptor, it is faster. Has about the same megalight speed as the TIE SF at about 140 in atmosphere, a speed of about 14 to 1500 kph. It really is drawing upon the technology that came before. It has a Class 2 hyperdrive, it has a shield generator, it does have life support, it is set up for long-range missions, and somewhat unique, it has silent running or kind of stealth technology. It's not cloaked, but it has ways of minimizing its energy signature for deep penetration or interception reconnaissance missions. Quite maneuverable. And it packs quite a punch too. We have a turret with the 2 medium laser cannon, and then we have 2 heavier cannon on the ball, presumably the LS 9.6, and then the wings could be configured with various loads. This has 4, and then we have 2 ordnance launchers, as well as quite long-range sensor arrays in the middle there. So this has 6, some will have more or less. It's again configurable. They produced the TIE Whisper in reasonable numbers for its specific role in the fleet. Again, they were operated by scout reconnaissance groups, interceptor groups, what have you. It could operate much like with the TIE SF for about a week away from base, and was reasonably well received in the fleet, but it was quite expensive with all the stuff packed into these, and having a crew of just 1 to having a more advanced computer. It was expensive enough that they weren't able to produce just thousands of these at one go. And now, finally, we come to our final TIE fighter. Building upon the TIE Advanced program and the TIE Defender, looking at the TIE Whisper, it kind of all culminated in this, the TIE VN. Officially the TIE Vengeance, unofficially the TIE Silencer. And you can definitely see its root in comparison to the Advance there. And it does borrow from what came before. And these were in kind of prototype form towards the end of the war. There were plans to put them into more mass production and spread them out, but at this point we're getting quite expensive, around 300,000 credits per vessel, which is a lot. That's more than 3 times the cost of a standard TIE FO, more than 4 or 5 times the cost. It's even more expensive really than the TIE Defender, although not by a whole lot. But what do you get for it? It's obviously a much larger hull. What else is going on under the hood? Well, even though Rebel and New Republic craft had Class 1 hyperdrives in their fighters for quite some time, the Imperial forces always emphasized streamlining and compactness over. So, this is one of the first to have a true Class 1 hyperdrive, which just kind of explains the rear section here, giving it the same range and speed as really any standard spacecraft. We have shielding, life support. We have similar kind of silent running or stealth technology as on the Whisper, a little bit different, but in the setup, because this is more of an offensive craft, but same deal. Extended solar collectors. We have 4 LS 9.6 cannon on the wing, and then we have two heavy L 7.5 laser cannon on the body itself. It also has two ordnance launchers, and these have a little bit better capacity for missiles, torpedoes, what have you. Just more body, more room. There's just more space in here for equipment, quite frankly. A lot of these are using, even going back to the TIE SF fuel cells in addition to the wings, and this has more room for fuel cells, so more speed, more engagement. In atmosphere, it's capable of hitting 16 to 1700 kph, so it can challenge, maybe even go a little faster than the TIE Defender. And its megalite rating is about 150, so it's kind of the fastest we look at here. Shield rating is quite good. Interestingly, the cockpit, the canopy, is getting away from the traditional TIE a bit. Kind of actually reminds me a little bit of the TIE Reaper. A little different field of view. Advanced targeting systems. It can also sling missile or torpedo pods under the fuselage for even heavier. So in a lot of ways, it's a combination of fighter, interceptor, and bomber, because it can probably carry the most ordnance. But again, it comes at the cost of cost. So yeah, now it is a little bit longer than the TIE Whisper, about 17 some odd meters, but it's actually just a little bit shorter too, at about 4 meters tall. So I think that's kind of interesting. It's also just a little bit wider too. Just a bulkier, kind of heavier craft. Again, very much based on the overall look and form plan of the Advanced here, more than anything else. And in universe canon, that's the most up-to-date TIE we've seen, the Imperial Remnant, fly. And that finally gets us to the end of the Micro Galaxy Squadron fleet. So what do we have here? Well, the central, fantastic.